Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's a pleasure to rise, as it always is in this House, and speak on behalf of the citizens of Calgary Signal Hill. Mr. Speaker, striking a balance between competing interests is the work of this House of Commons. It is a job that is frequently challenging, but it is the responsibility that we have undertaken, and it's what we owe Canadians. Today, in our criminal justice system, the consideration of the protection of the public has taken a back seat to the interest of offenders. We're talking about striking a balance in our justice system, and right now the scales of justice are out of balance and must be corrected. Mr. Speaker, the reason that the Conservative Party has brought forward Bill C-242 is to help the government. Clearly, they're busy thinking about things, but they're not doing things. And Canadians require action. At this point in time, crime statistics are up throughout our country, in province by province, and we have got to do something. Mr. Speaker, last August, just 2 months ago, I attended a meeting in Calgary with senior members of the Calgary Police Service. And at that time, a superintendent described a circumstance that had occurred in Calgary in the month of July that I think well illustrates the problem that we have and the problem that we must fix. Mr. Speaker, the superintendent described a crime wave that took place in Calgary through the month of July that was identified by the police service. They responded, they put a task force together, and they commenced making arrests. This was a group of youth and young adults who were committing home break-ins, but very frighteningly to the police, who traditionally have seen criminals break into homes for the purpose of theft, focusing on times when the homes are not occupied. But this brazen group had begun to break in at night in no consideration of whether or not the homes were occupied, and indeed they seemed to prefer to break into homes that were indeed occupied. There was an individual who was arrested, red-handed as the expression goes, in a home at night with the residents of home there. He was arrested, taken before a justice of the peace, and released. Now, this might not be much of a surprise or a shock. The individual's criminal history and record may have been considered at that time. But this same individual was arrested by the Calgary Police Service within a matter of days of his first arrest and released, again in a home, unlawfully at night with the residents of that home present. Again, a second time, this individual was taken before a justice of the peace and released. Now, that might begin to shock the senses, Mr. Speaker, but the fact is this same individual was arrested for a third time within 1 week, again at night, in a residence with the residents of that home present. Arrested a third time, taken before a justice of the peace for a third time, and yes, Mr. Speaker, released a third time. This is a system that is broken. We must make change, and there is no point in waiting, Mr. Speaker. The work has been done. The Conservative Party has done that work in cooperation with this House, and the members opposite should take note. I wish to note the comments, Mr. Speaker, of some individuals in respect of incidents like the one that I've described as related to me by the Calgary Police Service. This is from Scott Weller, a home invasion victim. Quote, as someone who knows firsthand the trauma of violent home invasion, I believe strongly in the need for jail, not bail. My family was attacked in what should have been the safety of our own home. The idea that violent offenders could be released back into the streets is terrifying, not just for us, but for every Canadian family. That night changed how we live and forced us to secure our home in ways I never imagined necessary. This will have a lasting impact on our family and our sense of safety. This legislation, the Conservative bill, recognizes that public safety must come first. It sends a clear message that violent crime has real consequences, and that the rights of victims and families come before the rights of criminals. End quote. Mr. Speaker, a second comment on the Conservative Bill 242. Quote, the Jail Not Bail Act is therefore more than legislation. It is an essential corrective, a lifeline capable of disrupting the revolving door of abuse and saving innocent lives. End quote. That is from Kate Alexander, End Violence Everywhere. Lastly, this is the kind of common sense legislation Canadians have been demanding, a framework that rebalances our bail system to prioritize public safety while still upholding the charter right to bail. This from Michelle Molyneux, board member of MEND Canada, an Indigenous-led organization in our country. Mr. Speaker, these quotations highlight exactly what the circumstances are in our streets, exactly what this problem is, and exactly what this conservative common sense legislation will do to sort this matter out. Mr. Speaker, in my own city of Calgary over the last 10 years, we've seen a 66% increase in violent crime. We've seen a 33% increase in sexual assaults, a 326% increase in firearms crime, and a 342% increase in extortion. With crime rates up, criminals being arrested but released, we have a problem in our justice system. There is a hole here that must be fixed, and Conservative Bill 242 will plug that hole, Mr. Speaker. Our constituents expect us to act responsibly. Waiting around until the Liberal Party addresses this issue and brings legislation before the House is not responsible, Mr. Speaker. I say again to my friends opposite, the work has been done. Take the rest of the day off. We're set to go. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Questions and comments. Questions et commentaires. The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Government House Leader.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm wondering if the member could provide his thoughts in regards to the other jurisdictional responsibilities that, let's say, the provinces and territories, even municipalities have with regards to bail and the need for bail reform. It is a shared responsibility, and I'm interested if he feels that there's any obligation on other levels of government to take any actions, given the fact that this current Prime Minister has made a commitment to bring forward the bail reform legislation.
Honourable Member for Calgary Signal Hill.
I thank my friend opposite for the question. Mr. Speaker, we are talking about the Canadian Criminal Code. It is federal legislation. It is the responsibility of this House to fix the problems that have existed since Liberal bail reform caused these problems. It is time to scrap Liberal bail and bring in a responsible balancing of the rights of society. The protection of our communities needs to be given greater consideration by our courts.
Questions and comments. Questions et commentaires. La députée de Shefford.
The Honourable Member for Shefford. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We're debating a serious and important matter today, and we need to have appropriate, serious debates about these topics. But today, what we're getting from this opposition motion from the Conservatives, and this is my question, is instead we're getting what is essentially a gag order regarding a bill that affects our rights. And I mean, on a bill like this, it ought to be properly debated and studied at committee with a serious attitude instead of trying to rush through a bill on such an important topic. It would be appropriate for us to study it together at committee.
For Calgary Signal Hill.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I appreciate the question of my friend here in the House. The fact is that we know what the statistics are. We know what the problem is. And we know what the solution is. The Conservative Party has proposed it. I want to note, Mr. Speaker, that this bill has been endorsed by the Canadian Police Association, countless victims advocacy groups, mayors and police departments that have been on the front lines of the battle against violent crime. I made reference to attending a meeting with senior officials, senior officers from the Calgary Police Service. It is disheartening to see the look in their eyes when they are defeated in the performance of their job to protect the public by weak legislation that makes their efforts irrelevant. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Questions and comments? Questions et commentaires. The honourable member for Cambridge.
Mr. Speaker, I thank my colleague for his speech here. Just recently, a 22-year-old and a 16-year-old in Cambridge violently attacked police and security officers, punching, kicking, and pushing them to the ground. One was later caught possessing crack cocaine, but the offenders are already back on the streets, released on bail. Crime is on the rise because there are no longer consequences to bad acts. My colleague is an accomplished lawyer, and he's been practicing for a long time. He remembers what it was like under Stephen Harper. Can he elaborate on what it means for criminals to face real consequences?
Honourable member for Calgary Signal Hill.
I thank my friend for that question. Undoubtedly, Mr. Speaker, the prior regime in place before the Liberals broke Canada's bail system was one where the rights of the public were considered in assessing the suitability for release of someone charged with a criminal offence. Of course, we're talking about a very particular stage in our criminal justice process, a point in time where a person is charged but has not been tried and has not been found guilty. But yet, when we consider the past criminal behaviour as an aspect of the probability of reoffence, that consideration and the protection of the public must be part of the overall consideration that our courts give to the option of bail or any other form of release. Under the Harper government, we had this balance better struck, Mr. Speaker. Those are the days we need to return to.